Howdy everybody, and welcome back to the Mega Man tutorial. So today we are finishing up with Woodman, I believe. Hopefully we'll get it all done. We should be able to. Alright, so where we leave off? We left off with, no, I didn't bother with the intro. I'll move that up here just so it's out of the way. We were with Woodman here, and we just had finished setting up the steps and everything, so now it's time to actually start setting up our different states for Woodman. So let's get cracking. If we come into our Woodman object, we can start setting up our states, so pop in a bunch of user events. We need 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And starting in Woodman starts in the summon state. And in that state, yes, state 0, summon state. Okay, so there's a few things that are going on in here. It's not that complicated. It's mostly animation timer stuff. First thing first, in the summon state, Woodman is able to change what direction he's facing. So we have a direction facing region where we check for the player and then base our direction on where he is. That's just the code that's from over here basically. Except we're basing on where the object player is compared to our position. Then we also set our object scale to whatever our direction facing is. I could have just made this one complete line, but I was trying to keep the direction facing variable in the loop, but pretty much wasn't necessary. Secondly, of course, our animation. Our image speed should be equal to our animation speed, which is 0.5. And if our roto leaves are not there, then we need to create roto leaves. And if we haven't spawned the leaves yet, then we need to spawn some leaves. And we'll get to these in a second here. And of course, increase our animation timer. So let's get working on that. So if not instance exists, object Woodman roto leaves. So that would actually be the leaf shield, which Leafman uses as his primary weapon. So we need to create a object obj underscore wood underscore man underscore roto underscore leaves. Let me pop it open over here. We'll give it a parent. Parent enemy projectile, and give it a create and a step event. We'll keep this somewhat simple. Damage underscore is equal to 6. Direction is equal to 45. Image underscore speed is equal to 0.5. So the direction at 45, well, can't remember if it actually matters. If it does, we'll find out over here in a second. So if, oh yeah, that's right. The leaf shield can bounce away buster shots the same way that bats can bounce away buster shots. So you check in the instance place for a buster shot, and if there is no buster shot, if there is a buster shot, then do the dink and throw it, throw the buster shot in the opposite direction with 2 times the speed and at -2 Y up towards the top of the screen. That's actually all we really use for this thing. So back over to here, we instance create at x, y -8 because again, y is at the bottom base of the object of the enemy object, so you want to create the roto leaves slightly higher than the base of the object, so it looks like it's coming out of the middle of them. Instances object woodman roto leaves. We create them here. And I believe we've given them a direction of 45. I still don't remember why we have that direction there. I think it might not be necessary. But we're creating it, and we're not actually giving it a speed or anything for the moment because the leaves are supposed to rotate around Woodman for a few seconds. And when we change our state, we'll actually give it a direction and whatnot. If animation timer mod 18, so every 18 frames, check to see if we have leaf spawns, and if there are any, if there aren't 4 leaf spawns, so we have that leaf spawn variable right there. And if there aren't any leaves spawned, then create a leaf at x, y -16. And increase our leaf spawn counter. So let's also create... Oh, before we go anywhere, I need to actually give this a sprite. Weapons, sprite ammo, leaf shield, or is it sprite leaf shield? Yeah, it's just sprite leaf shield. Just rotates around. I think the main reason why I gave it an image angle of 45 is because it's angled when it first appears around Leaf Man, so you just have an angle of 45 to make it angled properly. Alright. So yeah, it's not really very important unless you want that full angle, 45-degree angle accuracy. So let's make these leaf spawns. So we're going to create object underscore floating underscore leaf. Open that object. Give it a sprite. Falling leaf shield. And set a parent. Parent enemy projectile. And we are going to add a create event. There's not really very much that actually goes on with this leaf here. Just image underscore speed is equal to 0 because we don't want to animate in it first. Image underscore index is equal to 2. We want it to start at that image right there. Speed is equal to 4 and direction is equal to 90. So we're going to have it falling down at a speed of 4 pixels per frame. So coming back to our Woodman object, we want to add in the state change, and all this stuff has been set up so that when we change our state, so once we've spawned 4 leaves, and okay, so we spawn 4 leaves, they fall towards the ground, and they do their little animation as they float towards the ground. Huh. Maybe I should actually have the image speed equal to 0.5. Can't remember. Well, anyways, we'll leave it at this for the moment, and we'll change it if we need to. So anyways, we've spawned 4 leaves, and once they've fallen off the screen, then we set our leaf spawns back to 0, animation timer to 0, image index to 0, state woodman states.shoot. And we create falling leaves. And I cheaped out and just gave them actual room coordinates for where these things should spawn. Object falling leaf. What is the difference between falling leaf and floating leaf? I can't remember what the actual difference was. There is an important difference between them, though. So let's create that object here. And pop it open, give it a parent. Parent enemy projectile. Create event and a step event. Alright. So this is the one that actually is supposed to animate. Falling leaf shield. Speed is equal to 1. Direction 270. So it's supposed to go down. Oh yeah. Since this has a direction of 90, it's actually supposed to go to the upwards. Oh yeah, that's completely right. I completely forgot about it. What happens is Leafman spawns leaves that fly up to the top of the screen, and then they come falling down. I completely forgot about that. I don't know why I did that. So we spawn these leaves that fly up towards the top of the screen, and then they come back falling back down. So image speed 0.25, that's when they animate. Speed 1, direction 270, timer 0, damage 6. Ping is equal to false. We have to use that. And angle is equal to 180. What are we going to use these variables for? Determine X position and image index via sign of the timer. So the leaves float back and forth as they fall down from the screen, from the ceiling. So we want them to move via a sign of their position. We start with an angle of 180, and we use our X equals X start plus d sine of angle times 8. So we do that to cause our X position to change back and forth. So we use X start as our variable to determine where it's supposed to rotate, the center of the seesaw motion. Timer plus plus. If we are not ping, then angle equals approach angle to 90 by 5. Otherwise, if angle is equal to 90, then ping is equal to not ping. Then approach the angle to 270 by 5. And once it's equal to 270, flip-flop it back. And ping is just a variable name I chose at random there. So just ping pongs back and forth between the different states. So the angle changes so that it will change what position it's going to be at any given time. So you're going left, you're going right, you're going left, you're going right. Anyways, that's more complex than it needed to be. So that should be the summon state finish. So we've created these falling leaves. And now we are going to execute our new state, which is the shoot state. So this is when Leaf Man actually throws his leaf shield at Mega Man. So let me close all this and pop it open. shoot state. And this state is all animation again. So our animation speed is equal to our image speed is equal to animation speed. When we're in the shoot state, we use the leaf shoot picture, where he goes, where he crouches and then sort of explodes out. There we go. So if animation timer is less than sec times 0.1, image index is equal to 0, and sprite index is equal to sprite woodman idle, and manual sprite change is equal to true. So we wait 0.1 seconds before we actually do the shooting bit. Then once 0.1 seconds has passed, then we pop out our animation. So we then do our little explosion effect at that point. And once we reach the animation end of the leaf shoot animation, then we do shoot idle equals true, and set that up for right over here. When shoot idle is equal to true, then we set our image speed to 0 and our sprite to woodman idle and manual sprite change again. Don't forget the animation timer plus down there. Back up to here, if instance exists, woodman roto leaves. So if the rotation leaves around woodman still exist, then with the roto leaves, give it a direction equal to other dot direction facing. So, well, not that, but based on what direction woodman is facing, then give it either a 0 or 180. So it'll go left or right, and a speed of 4. That way it'll shoot towards Mega Man in whatever direction woodman is facing. All right. Next up, state change. If animation timer is greater than or equal to sec times 0.5, so after 0.5 seconds in this state, then we go and turn off the shoot idle, because we don't want to forget to reset that, and set our state to the jump state. Image index is 0 again, and jump to the next state. So going over to number 2, our jump state. We have a little bit of animation here. Again, as usual. Our image speed should be equal to 0. And if we're on ground, then ground timer plus. If ground timer is less than sec times 0.1, then sprite underscore index is equal to sprite woodman crouching, and manual sprite change is true. So while we're on the ground, then as long for 0.1 seconds, we want to be using the crouching sprite before we swap to the jumping sprite. And if we haven't jumped yet, so when we actually jump, we'll turn this on so we don't actually do this again. But once we are over 0.1 seconds, then we set on ground to false, Y speed to jump speed. So we're basically emulating the player hitting the jump button at this point. X speed equal to max speed times negative image X scale. Ground timer is equal to -1, so we reset the ground timer and set jumped to true, so we don't try to double jump. We also have a little acceleration region. If on ground, X speed is equal to 0. Otherwise, when he lands, if you don't remember to turn off the X speed, he'll just go sliding around the arena. Looks very funny. Apply gravity, Y speed, yeah, just apply gravity as usual. You could actually probably, no, you have to have the gravity because he still has to come down, doesn't he? So Also copy and paste in speed fractions and collision system. So typically animation goes down here, but I put it up here because the animation is really what the entire state is about in this case. So once we have actually jumped, then once we are back onto the ground and ground timer is greater than or equal to sec times 0.1, I set ground timer equal to -1 at this point. Oh yeah, because ground timer starts going back up again once we actually land on the ground again. So we wait another 0.1 seconds after he lands. Then we reset the ground timer again and make sure our X and Y speeds are 0 again. And set our jump to false, basically reset the state, and put ourselves into the idle state. Idle state, very simple. Just if not instance exists object falling leaf, state is equal to woodman states dot summon. So the leaves are still falling from the sky at this time. So he basically idles until the leaves finally finish falling from the sky completely. Then he goes back into the summon state. So let's check this out real quick. See what happens if we run the game. That's right. Need to remember to put in his spawner. It's always useful, right? There's a little spot right there. Whoops. There's a little spot right there where I forgot the tile. So there's the leaf shooting up. There we go. Oh no, he killed me. One hit KO. He's extra strong, it seems. Alright. That so I don't fall through the hole again. So now that he's pretty much done, I guess we need a death state for him, don't we? So this is actually going to be a copy of the death state for our player object. So come on into here. Set up our animation. If animation timer is equal to -1, then manual sprite change is equal to false. Otherwise, set manual sprite change to true. So we create our particle burst here. We create our death sphere. And we pretty much set up exactly the same way with the player, except in this case, we also change the sprite index from the normal sprite index to the sprite destruction flash instead. That way, you get the white and yellow spheres instead of the blue ones, which are for Mega Man. So yeah. Just make sure you insert that in with everything there. That's all you need to do there. set up this global.new weapon thing, but I didn't really actually put in actually getting the new weapon, so didn't bother with that there. We have restart. So at this point, we create our object level end because we have finished the level. And of course, remember to move our animation timer towards -1. Because if you remember correctly, back here in our damage check, when he dies, he puts his the animation timer to 6 times 0.25. Let's make him even more vulnerable, so we're going to put it at 16 times damage so we can kill him faster. And how much time do we got going here? Ooh, we're at 25 minutes, so we'll set up the level end and end game room in the next episode. So let's see what we got. Yeah, I should probably actually have commented out that line of code before I tested it. But at least it looks like it's working. So thank you everybody for joining me for this episode. I'm going to read some Patreon supporter names, and after that we'll get around to closing. So thank you very much. Fragile Hearts, Guru Patreon, Damien, Kenneth Klein, John Dickey, Vladimir Solitov, and Vito Wang for your support of the NES GameMaker. And I am greatly appreciative of your confidence in my programming abilities. Thank you everybody for joining me. If you have a question or comment, please leave it behind in the comment section or join us on the Discord. And of course, you can also support me on the Patreon. So thank you again, everybody. Until next time, good luck with your programming.